This is the Trump bombshell of all Trump bombshells. What if I told you that Washington is sitting on the greatest secret in American history? No, it's not who really killed JFK. I think we all know which three-letter agency facilitated that. No, it's not what's hiding at Area 51. No, it's actually a bigger secret, something that could change the balance of power overnight around the world. It's Fort Knox, the place that allegedly holds all of America's gold reserves. And what Elon Musk and President Trump are planning to do there would be an absolute game changer. So we'll get there in a second. But first, some context. For over 50 years, the United States government has been playing hide the salami and refusing to let anyone do an audit of our gold reserves. Our government has refused to let anyone even in the front door. I'm talking senators, members of Congress, and more. They've asked to go there. They've been told no. What gives the deep state the right to tell members of Congress you can't go here?
Well, I've been trying to go down and see the gold and make sure it's all there for about 10 years.
Even if it's in your own backyard? It's the same people that tell presidents they're not allowed to know about our UFO crash retrieval programs. It's the permanent deep state government that doesn't work for you or me. Well, that's about to change. So just so you understand, our government claims that inside Fort Knox, the heavily guarded vault in Kentucky, there are 4,580 tons of gold worth $425 billion. That's a massive amount of gold. But here's the problem. No one has actually seen it. No one. Not even Kentucky Senator Rand Paul or Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie. No independent verification. No transparency. Just trust us, bro. It's there. Pinky promise. So here's what we do know. The last full audit of Fort Knox was in 1974, if you believe it. That's over a half a century ago, right after we came off of the gold standard in the United States. Now, the government claims we have 147.3 million ounces of gold, but they refuse to let independent investigators verify it. Some believe the gold isn't there at all. Others think it's been loaned out, stolen, or replaced with fake gold bars so that it looks like there's gold there. There are plenty of people who actually believe there's no gold at Fort Knox at all, that our government has been lying to us all along. But guess what? Now that's all about to change because Donald Trump and Elon Musk are about to pull back the curtain on Washington's best kept secret. This weekend, we got a bombshell hint at what they're planning. Elon Musk's DOGE is planning a full-scale audit of Fort Knox to account for every piece of so-called gold. Now, this isn't just some random audit. This is the beginning of the end for the deep state's financial control because if they've been lying about Fort Knox, what else have they been hiding? And the people leading the charge of this audit, Senator Rand Paul, Elon Musk, and Trump's new government wrecking ball, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, which, by the way, liberals by the thousands gathered in Washington, D.C. yesterday to protest DOGE because they really don't want government transparency. Well, this Sunday, Elon posted his intention to fully audit Fort Knox, and Senator Rand Paul took the bull by the horns to get to the bottom of Washington's greatest secret. He's been trying to get to the bottom of this for decades. Now, the media's meltdown is already happening, just like they did when Musk exposed Twitter's censorship program, or USAID. They're on full-scale damage control. NBC, CNN, The Washington Post. Here's my favorite. Elon Musk isn't qualified to run an audit. Yeah, he's not personally doing the audit. And by the way, who is qualified? Because none of the clowns in Washington, D.C. have run an audit. Who are the qualified people? Can you show me? If there's nothing to hide, why are they panicking?
They are stealing from the American taxpayer, and now they've got their hand caught in the cookie jar, and all they can do is attack Elon Musk.
This is the story the deep state doesn't want you to hear because if the United States government is lying about the amount of gold at Fort Knox, the consequences would be seismic, earth-shattering, not just for the U.S. economy, but for the entire global financial system. Because here's why. It would mean the collapse of trust in the U.S. government. Yes, the U.S. dollar is not backed by gold, but the perception that the U.S. has a vast reserve of gold adds significant confidence to the dollar and the entire financial system. I spoke to a member of Congress yesterday, a gold expert, who told me if it turns out that Fort Knox is empty or underfunded, the trust in every U.S. financial institution would crumble overnight. Investors, foreign governments, even U.S. citizens would start questioning the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, and every economic report that's issued by the government. So the U.S. debt, which is already at crisis levels, $36 trillion, would look even worse, especially since much of America's economic strength is built on the belief that the government's assets match somewhere its debt obligations. Then we'd face a dollar decline like you've never seen before. And Elon understands this, as he just pointed out that all federal spending is a form of taxation. It has to be paid for either by taxing us or inflating our currency. The government produces nothing.
And as I mentioned earlier, like a very important point that I think is important for people to understand is that all federal spending is taxation. Because what they don't receive, what the federal government doesn't receive in direct revenue, they make up for in inflation. They just print money.
What it spends, it has to take from you and me. And the idea that the government has vast amounts of gold to prop up the government is vital to this equation.
Gold still gives value to the dollar. Yeah. That's why we don't get rid of it. You know, we've got it. The IMF has it. The World Bank has it. Most of the central banks around the world have gold, and it's an implicit trust that the dollar still has some backing.
He's right. And if the world suddenly realizes that the gold reserves aren't real, central banks, global investors could dump the US dollar, leading to massive inflation beyond Joe Biden's wildest dreams. Foreign nations ditching US Treasury bonds, leading to skyrocketing interest rates. And it would drive countries away from the US dollar towards the BRICS nations, which are backed by gold. Then you'd have a mad rush to buy up as much gold, silver, and even Bitcoin as you get your hands on. Gold prices would skyrocket. I mean, they're already at all-time highs. Investors rushing to buy real store of value. Silver, also a monetary metal, could see historic highs. And then crypto, especially Bitcoin, would see a surge as people look for alternatives to the collapsing fiat government money system. And then, of course, there's the Fed. Here's the big one. If Fort Knox is missing gold, it would immediately expose the Federal Reserve, which has been manipulating gold prices for decades through paper derivatives, essentially fake gold trading on Wall Street. So a full-scale audit would likely prove that the Fed, Treasury, global banking elites have been rigging the system. Guys, it would be catastrophic. And the result? We'd have mass resignations, criminal charges, possibly the biggest scandal in modern American history. And I believe you would have calls to abolish the Federal Reserve or return to a gold-backed currency and stop with all this fake money printing that's not backed by anything. I mean, China and Russia have been hoarding gold while pushing for a gold-backed BRICS currency. And for over a century, America has been the economic superpower of the world. But this revelation could be the final nail in the coffin for U.S. financial supremacy, upending all of Trump's plans. And Trump knows this. He's going to have to deal with the consequences if he wants to be the most transparent president in history. So let's see what's hiding in Fort Knox. Now, if they can prove fraud at Fort Knox, here's what happens next, in my opinion. A full-scale audit of the Federal Reserve will happen. A collapse of the corrupt banking system built on deception. The return of real sound money that's backed by gold. And guess what? Trump has already been talking about it. He's been hinting at a gold-backed dollar. He's been calling out the Fed's manipulation of interest rates. Can you imagine if Trump puts us back on a gold standard? Now, if Fort Knox is empty, it wouldn't just be a financial disaster. It would be proof that the United States government has been lying on an unimaginable scale. So this is the first domino to fall, and the establishment is absolutely terrified about it. That's the news update part of today's video. Now let's talk about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to everything we've just been talking about with gold and Trump's plans to audit our gold reserves. So Trump's executive orders over the past few weeks have been jaw-dropping, and one in particular has me very excited. Finally, opening up Alaska to drilling so that America can become the drilling capital of the world, or as the White House put it, unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. That's it. We are so back, baby, especially if we open up all of this drilling. So it reads, by the authority vested in me as president, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. The state of Alaska holds an abundant and largely untapped supply of natural resources, including, among other things, energies, mineral, timber, seafood. President Trump indicated he wants to develop these resources to the fullest extent possible. He wrote, quote, unleashing this opportunity, however, requires an immediate end to the assault on Alaska's sovereignty and its ability to responsibly develop these resources for the benefit of the nation. Now, the executive order directs U.S. policy to fully avail itself of Alaska's vast lands and resources for the benefit of the nation. While specific policies and initiatives on mining haven't been announced yet, this is a very positive indication of the federal policymaking mindset at the presidential level. So today I want to share with you a specific company which owns a significant estimated mineral resource of gold and copper in Alaska with no debt and approximately $4.4 million in cash and cash equivalents as of September 30th, 2024, and a project in the great state of Alaska. So that sponsor of today's video is called U.S. Gold Mining, trading on the NASDAQ with the ticker symbol USGO. Now just listen to this. At its April 2023 IPO, gold was worth $1,930 an ounce. Now, as of this recording, it's trading at an all-time high, over $2,900 an ounce. Their flagship Whistler Gold Copper Silver project includes 3 gold deposits with combined estimated mineral resources of 6.5 million ounces of gold equivalent in the indicated category, plus an additional 4.2 million gold equivalent ounces in the inferred category. Now, you guys should review U.S. Gold Mining's latest annual report and other filings. They're all available under its profile on the SEC's website. Just go to sec.gov and you can read all about it right there. So the most critical development, and in my personal opinion, a potential value driver, comes from the Trump administration's attitude towards Alaska. So take a look at this iconic photo on your screen. Trump, still wounded by the attempted assassination, is shaking hands with Mike Dunleavy, who's the governor of the great state of Alaska. Now, I tell you this because Mr. Dunleavy is also in this next photo, and in this one, Governor Dunleavy is visiting the company's Whistler project in Alaska with Mr. Tim Smith, who's the CEO of U.S. Gold Mining, which is the company I'm telling you about. So Tim Smith came to U.S. Gold Mining from Newmont, which is a 100-year-old gold producer, one of the largest gold mining companies in the world. If you know anything about gold, you know about Newmont. Now, before Newmont, he worked for Goldcorp, which at the time was one of Canada's biggest gold producers, and then they merged. But I want to talk about the company he worked at before joining Goldcorp, because what he accomplished there is precisely what the board of U.S. Gold Mining wants him to deliver for its stockholders. Now, he worked for Kaminak Gold Corporation. Kaminak discovered the coffee deposit in the Yukon. Again, if you know anything about gold, you know about the coffee deposit. And he advanced the resource until Goldcorp acquired it for $520 million Canadian. It's one of the most significant buyouts of the past decade. So U.S. Gold Mining owns a project that has a combined estimated mineral resource of 6.5 million ounces of gold resource equivalent in the indicated category and an additional 4.2 million ounces of gold equivalent in the inferred category. Its CEO was part of the team that sold the coffee gold deposit owned by Kaminak to Goldcorp for $520 million back in 2016. And while we're talking about different projects here, of course, where outcomes could be totally different, right? This is the reason he was recruited to become the CEO of USGO, so that he could basically utilize his skill set and work towards similar goals for U.S. gold mining. So his track record speaks for itself. Bank of America is predicting gold bullion will hit $3,000 per ounce. Right now, it's over $2,900 an ounce. So this alert today concerns a gold stock, USGO, trading approximately 40% below its all-time high as of February 1st, 2025. So guys, go out, do your own due diligence on this company. Again, it's on the NASDAQ. Here is the ticker on your screen. I'll have links below in the description to the company's website so you can do your own homework on this company, study their projects, their gold projects, and we'll see you next time, everyone.